they're plumbers.
Oh no! Not yet! Luigi!
They're on the trail of a kidnapped princess and a mystical meteorite.
It's incredible!
Hi, this is Dodger, and you're watching my show. Welcome to a very special Blast from the Past episode. It is nearly the end of 2012. Thought it would be really fun to look back 20 years and say to ourselves, what was going on in gaming in 1992? But allow me to give you a pop culture base to start with. The grunge look was quite in. Pearl Jam was topping the charts along with Madonna and Nirvana. In the movies, there were movies like Home Alone 2 and Wayne's World. The FDA became very involved in the world of breast implants, and the Independent Party thought that maybe they had a shot. But beyond all of this, beyond Aladdin, and Batman Returns, and Boys to Men, we have to ask ourselves what was actually going on 20 years ago in gaming news. If I had a show, that would probably be a radio show, talking about what was happening with all the video games, what would I be saying? You might be surprised to remember that Street Fighter 2 took Game of the Year that year, and as we all know, that franchise is never going to die. As of right now, there are 19 Street Fighter games, but at one point, there were only 2. Another great fighting game that turned into a huge franchise that started in 1992 is Mortal Kombat. Lauded and shamed at the time for being one of the bloodiest and most violent games that you could play, especially in an arcade. It had a lot of controversy around it, but again, it spawned a huge franchise. Now at the time, the Ultima games were like gold. They were doing so well. But a game that wound up being considered one of the best adventure games of all time came out in 1992 called Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. Now this is another game that might surprise a lot of you in terms of how it was played. It was a point-and-click adventure game, but it also utilized the SCUM system by LucasArts. So you had like a little menu at the bottom that allowed you to interact with things, but in a very focused way. Because of this, it was really the best sort of game that was a bridge between text adventure games and what we now consider to be the standard RPG adventure. Echo the Dolphin came out, which was a really creepy game. Also, the very first Mario Kart game came out in 1992, which blew my mind. Another Mario title that came out was Super Mario Land 2 Golden Coins. It came out for Game Boy, and it was the very first time that we ever saw Wario. Another first time seeing a character this year was in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. We first saw Tails. Guys, a lot happened in 1992. It was packed. It was a packed thing. Now, as just some extra info, in terms of hardware, the Wonder Mega was released in Japan by JVC, and it was the Sega Mega Drive and the Sega Mega CD shoved into one console. The Amiga 1200 computer was created, the Super NES finally came out in Europe, the Super Scope was made for the Super NES for the first time, and Activision filed for bankruptcy. We all know how that turned out. So I hope you enjoyed getting a little blast from the past, learning what happened 20 years ago. It was really interesting reading all of that stuff for me, and I hope that it was interesting for you to listen to. Thanks so much for watching. If you would like to have coffee with me, you can click wherever I put the annotation and it'll take you to my other channel. But otherwise, I hope that you have an amazing day and that the middle of your week is going great, and I will talk to you guys again on Friday. Okay. Bye-bye!